Hey everybody, Jason Burmis here. I know normally we have a thumbnail, but at the request of my guest here, we don't right now, and I'll make another one up. We're live streaming on 3 different platforms, one of which is founded by the man that has joined me today. And as you guys know, you've been asking me for a while, well, what are you going to do when they kick you off of YouTube? And I'm like, well, I don't know because I haven't broken their rules, and they wanted an alt platform. And Martin, I posted to BitChute, but BitChute doesn't go live. One of the great advantages is we are live right now in, high definition on any subject we want. And 2, you've built a merit-based system where when I create a video, it's not demonetized out of the gates and then up for review. And then the algorithm doesn't show it to any of my viewers or suggest it. And only one of my last dozen videos gets any monetization whatsoever. So, my friend, I want to thank you for coming on. I want to let you explain what Rokfin's all about. But first, I want to know who you are, man, because I know you're the founder of FloSports. But how does one get into something like that? How do you grow up and all of a sudden you're going to start your own streaming service that is such a niche and probably a long shot to everybody that talks to you and tells you can't do it, and you do it?
Yeah, I mean, I guess that there's certain people that probably built that they don't really care what other people say, and it doesn't affect them, and I definitely fall into that category. And so, I just, when I first started FloSports, I just felt like, hey man, I loved wrestling, I couldn't find it, and I knew that more than anything, I was built to be creating and starting a company. My dad had a couple companies, and he kind of showed me along the way, and so from the get-go, I knew that's what I was going to be doing. And so it was just natural when I saw a need for something, I was going to build something to fit that need. I wrestled in college. I loved wrestling. And so I started FloSports that way and built out from there as we proved out the models. So, and then to Rokfin, we started Rokfin just because, again, I saw a massive need in the marketplace. There's just the content creators and basically the suppliers of YouTube's networks and other networks are really getting steamrolled. And that's our opportunity, right? Our opportunity is to super serve those creators, those people that are creating content, and actually treat them like partners, not as people we can leverage along the way, but treat them like a long-term partnership. And guess what? We're going to attract even more content providers, even better content providers as it goes, or more ones with more scale, or different ones that's going to expand the network and grow the pie for everyone. So that's really our philosophy. It's really simple, and that's what we're focused on.
So let's take it step by step, because this is what attracted me to your platform, right? Forget it, because everybody, I was on DTube when I was working for an organization called We Are Change. Well, they revamped and they got rid of everything, and then DLive's the new thing. And all of these networks like Minds and others pop up, right? The new ones float. They don't have an actual business plan. So I feel like, why am I wasting my time to throw my hat into the mix for stuff that I'm not sure people want? And then on the other level of things like Patreon and Subscribestar, well, if I'm going to get money from my audience and I'm going to provide them with bonus content and it's at tiers, now I also feel kind of uncomfortable. You've built a service that's basically a Netflix for content creators that's also not just backed by mystery crypto, but actual money, in that subscribers are paying $9.99 a month. And although they may endorse Jason Burmis, they get everybody's content. And that's brilliant, in my opinion. So there's an intrinsic value in your coin where it's not in others.
Yeah, I mean, so what we saw was there's a big need in the marketplace. And, some people follow the major players, but don't understand why they're following the major players. So we didn't want to create an ad-based network because, one, to compete with a Google or Facebook around ads is absolutely insane. The fact is you got to give your other, the other people in the marketplace the credit is due when the credit is deserved. And the fact is you can micro target anybody on the planet or any demographic on the planet with those services. And for someone to say, hey, I'm going to create an ad-based network, it doesn't make any sense. And so that's why we immediately went to subscription, because subscription is what we see as the only model to do it. And anything I do, you got to have a long-term business plan, a long-term the microeconomics, not the macro. The microeconomics have to work if you want it to be sustainable. So the unit economics of how things of how our network works is very sustainable, and so we built it from that ground up. When we talk about crypto, it's frustrating, right? Because you talk about crypto, people's eyes glaze over because there's so much nefarious activity going on. So I frankly don't talk much about it, but it's one of the most powerful aspects of what our network is. It is based and rooted in real unit economics of the network. And we're open and transparent with it. We have a working model. You can go onto our Ray dashboard today and see that there's 3,400 and growing subscribers that are paying $9.99 a month. And for every subscriber that comes in, we need the crypto to burn. And all our burns are public so people can see that we're following the rules of the network. And that really helps distribute the full value back to creators. I mean, I'm kind of glossing it over. I'm not going into the super technical for this podcast. Happy to do it. But the general idea is that the Ray tokens are anchored in real world unit economics.
Absolutely. And I'll do it for people because this is how I look at it, guys. Right now, you can create a Rokfin for free, right? Now, as a creator, I want you to come in, so I'm going to offer some of my stuff to you for free. For instance, what I really love about it is not only am I able to throw up throwback stuff, but something like Rand Paul talking in front of the Senate floor during the impeachment. YouTube pulls the video because he says the word, and since I'm triple streaming, I can't even say it, Erica Caramello Bar, the supposed whistleblower. They've banned that. You can't have that on YouTube. I can have that on Rokfin. Now, originally that was premium content. I did it here on purpose for my, fans and subscribers and other people to see. But now I've made it public, and the only place you can see it is Rokfin, because if I put it on YouTube, it gets banned. So I want people to come into the network. You want people to stay into the network, and you not only get my premium content, but you get other voices. And I like that you're not making it open out of the gates. That was also what attracted me. You started with 3 things that you knew about: Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, real MMA, real wrestling, and then I wonder why you picked free thinking, but I can kind of guess. It's probably because it was the most oppressed thing on these things, and you could get creators with actual, thoughts in their heads that wanted to create content over. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, there's a definite pain there. I think that's where there's pain, there's opportunity, right? And so I just see that it's a unique opportunity to serve a group that feels marginalized. And frankly, man, it's so interesting. It's on the left and it's on the right. It's just like this unique amount of people that just feel like they're being marginalized by the establishment, and it seems like there's a strong opportunity. We have rules and guidelines, and frankly, those rules and guidelines can change. Now, what separates us from YouTube is the fact that, if we change our rules and guidelines, you can walk away with your customers. You get their email. So all of a sudden, what we've done is we haven't created this utopia that magically works, right? Because ultimately we're going to be protective of the Rokfin brand. But what we did is we changed the power dynamics. So we give power back to the content people, the suppliers, the people actually making the network, in the form of just not only compensation, but actually data. And by doing that, it's going to ensure that we act responsibly to our network, because we can't just lock you out of it without the repercussions of you getting and say, okay, you know what? I'm taking all of my customer base and I'm going to go elsewhere. Right. And so that's the dynamic. That's the culture we want. We want, I try to think things through to like a long term, not just, hey, what's good right now, but what's going to hold us to account in 10 years, in 20 years. And so that's what we tried to build the platform on, sustainable principles that we can back not only today, but in 10 or 20 years.
And for those that don't know, you have basically 35 million of these Ray tokens that anybody who follows crypto, they are basically subcontracts written on Ethereum. Anchoring it to Ethereum, I think, is probably a smart move since that's one of the top altcoins that most people know, Litecoin, Ethereum. There are a few others, but it's performed pretty well, right? And then on top of that, as you burn these, in other words, when somebody subscribes and I get a text, like you said, I know who's subscribing to me, right? You have to burn the value of the day in Ray tokens right there with that credit card swipe and the recurring one. So it's 64 cents today. If it's $10 cash, you're burning about 13, 14 tokens somewhere in there. Now, as I understand it, at the end of the day, even though there's a finite amount, and obviously you'll be producing less and less, and with the power of the network, they should be worth more and more because of that intrinsic value of creators continuing to create and bring on. You won't have 35 million at the end because you'll be burning some of them and they'll be gone forever, correct?
Yeah, so a couple little tweaks to what you said. So first off, there'll only ever be 34 million minted, but we started with zero. We just started from a point of zero and built up from there. So right now, it's not that there's 34 million out there. There'll be 34 million after 100 and whatever 50 years thereabouts. What's there right now is closer to I don't want to get it wrong, but it's in.
No, I had it in there. I looked at it today. Yeah.
It's in the 2 million range, right? Mm-hmm. 2.5 million. And the total mint has been about 3.3 million, but there's been about 800,000 that have been burned or thereabouts, right? Mm-hmm. So, and you can see all this stuff on the Ray dashboard. And so, so the fact we didn't do an ICO, we didn't do a pre-mine, we didn't just gift ourselves a bunch of tokens to start from there, because we're like, if we do that, who are we really taking it from? We're taking from the suppliers of the network, because now we're controlling it. So again, we do everything with a thought process of, hey, we want to serve the suppliers of the network, because we know if we do great in terms of super serving these people, making sure to crush it for them, we're going to attract other great content providers, and that's how the network grows, and everybody wins, including the customer, right? And so that's our thought process around it. But yes, we have to burn every time there's more of a subscription. We have to burn, and that means our demand for Ray goes up as we get more and more subscribers.
Exactly. And again, what to me is better than me saying, support me on Patreon. Number one, Patreon can just kick me off if they don't like my content on another platform. Doesn't even have to be on their platform. They can just see a social media post or whatever. They've done it before. I assume Subscribestar is going to be similar, but because you're starting out small too, it's great for people like me to get in now when, I'm putting in work, but I'm only putting in 1 or 2 videos a day. I'm doing 3 to 7 on this platform, brother. You know what I mean? And Lord forbid, YouTube got rid of me. I've built enough of a base that if I had to do 3 to 7 on your platform, just now I've seen the Ray token, and it's crypto, it goes up and down, triple in value since I started with you guys 5 weeks ago. And there are smart people on there. Ben Askren, I've been a fan. I actually saw his first Bellator fight live out in Texas. I was there to see Dan Hornbuckle, and I was pretty upset when Ben Askren just put him down for 3 rounds, but what can you do? You have an exciting platform for somebody like me. I also do a weekly podcast that I put on there sometimes with John Fitch called Mixed Martial Mindset. It's very intelligent to start small. So, are you planning on what the next small thing you're gonna allow people to come on with? Like, have you thought about I don't know? I guess cooking's big, or some other type comedy channels.
Well, we really analyze every application that comes through, and we look at, hey, is this something that we want to do? Does this person, would we be a good solution for this person? Mm-hmm. So we really look at it on a person-to-person basis, and we're reaching out to people within the verticals that you say, but that was also because there was a lot of organic, people coming in because of those. So we're not preventative of jumping into anything per se, and if there's a qualified applicant that even outside the boxes in another vertical, we'll definitely consider it. And if it makes sense, that we think it makes sense for them to be on a platform, we'll do it. So there's that. One other thing I want to say on the Ray token before we move past the Ray token, all it does it's just a new financial vehicle for content creators. People think crypto, they think all these crazy thoughts. Essentially, what it does is it gives content creators an option. They can cash out today, or they can keep their stake in the network.
Mm-hmm.
And all of the Ray combined total through all of time is the complete value of the network. And so when we distribute in Ray token, it just gives you, Jason, an opportunity to say, you know what, I want to cash out everything, or I want to keep a portion of what I've earned as a stake in the network for the future. And so we give people that optionality, because right now, like if you were one of the first users on YouTube and you were critical to their success, guess what? You're completely locked out of the value of YouTube. Mm-hmm. When it sells for 1.2 billion or whatever it's worth right now, which is probably closer to 180 billion or 200 billion. Mm-hmm. Based on Morgan Stanley's estimate in like 2017, which it seems like it's only gone up from there. So all the suppliers of the network are totally locked out of the value of the network. Now, Ray token's not a stock; it's not a security. I should say that from the get-go. I'm just using an analogy of how content creators and suppliers in existing platforms, how they're really locked out of the full value of the network.
Yeah.
And then over time, that network can leverage them, even though they help build it up, right?
Yeah.
You help build YouTube. Other people are helping you build YouTube. And guess what? YouTube in a year can change the rules and say, you know what? We're going to lock you out now. It's like, well, shoot. How did this all change? Before you were acting great. Now we got all these new MBAs coming in. You guys went public, and now you're locking people out for who knows what reason.
Well, and they also directly employ people. That's the other thing. Right before this, a buddy of mine built a channel up from the ground up. I've known him a decade, 2.2 million subscribers. They work for YouTube now. So YouTube is directly employing creators. They now have even more of an incentive to push the people they're directly employing, obviously, than their competition. And even an incentive maybe to not allow their competition to grow and jump platforms. So there's even more going on with YouTube. I mean, we could talk about Alphabet, Google, YouTube.
Yeah. So, and you bring up a good point, because we just launched IA Wrestle on the platform. You should have seen the amount of support within our existing wrestling verticals, which would be quote unquote their competition, right? I was like, boom, IA Wrestle's on. That's awesome. The reason why they say that's awesome, because they can know they have a stake in the network, and the network is getting stronger. They know that if their competition comes on, guess what? You're able to reach a deeper segment of your audience that says, you know what? I will pay the $9.99, because not only do I get you, I get all these other things. And so, and they're willing to pay more, right? They're willing to pay more than if it was just you. The lifetime value of the customers go up. So it's a force multiplier for people's business. It really changes the whole dynamic of the mindset of competition. Yes, they're competitive, but now it's a collaborative competition. Instead of fighting it out in the alleys, they're fighting it out from their mansions, right? And yeah, let them kind of they're competitive, but they understand that increasing the value of the network is a rising tide that's going to lift all boats, not just the digital platform where their content resides.
Exactly. And I want to give a shout out to Flickoff for the $50 super chat. I really appreciate that, brother. That's one of the cool things here. But then YouTube cuts in 30% of that. They cut in 30%, whereas when I see how many subscribers I get based on what my crypto is worth, quote unquote, today, if I decided to sell, which I haven't. But at the same time, I want to speak to that, because like you said, if I needed to cash out, like I said, if I was off YouTube today and I had to post to your site 3 to 7 times a day, maybe I'd have to cash out 80% to live, 90% even. But right now, I've had to cash out 0%. And there is a point where when I hit it, I'm going to cash out half and keep half of my investment, and then take my cash earnings for the work I've done over those last few months. And I'm able to set that now, luckily, because of what I'm able to do on other platforms, but because I'm providing exclusive content to your platform and reaching people on this platform. And remember, guys, you can sign up right now to my Rokfin. Follow me. I want to hit 2,000 followers already. Get over there. That's free. And like I said, if you like the content I'm providing for free, please check out the real premium stuff for $9.99. Endorse me. You get people that I may not agree with all the time, like Cernovich, Nico House, Graham Elwood, Ron Placone. There's a ton of them. And then you get stuff like Ben Askren and Front Row Brian. So, it's really, for me anyway, for being an MMA guy, for being a free thinking guy, it's really a great thing that you've put together. Now, I've heard you talk about 3 million user base in the next few years. That's the goal. What do you think realistically in the next 12 months you'll be able to expand the user base to?
I don't know. I mean, you're talking about paying subscribers?
No, no, no. I'm talking about just a user base because I think that again, one of the things that I've encouraged my friends to do to contact you that I think are good, because you guys contacted me, which I thought was awesome. Who I think are also good people is put some stuff out for free, bring people over, right? And let them see that, hey, the algorithm's burying 80, 90% of my videos anyway. If I post 2 of those that I post on YouTube, there's a chance that somebody's going to see it there that can't see it on my platform unless they go directly to my page. And then you give them the premium content. So you give them that incentive to come over. Again, what I really like is it's live streaming, and eventually I'll be able to interact with my audience as it gets bigger. And I do some of these for free as well. I think it's a win-win for everybody. So how many... I'm not even worried about subscriber paying base. I'm wondering how many users you think you can bring onto this.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of think about it actually in terms of the subscribers and generating it, because that's really the dynamics that really affect the creators. But I mean, I love the experience of our app because outside of being a subscriber, because I can shut it off or close it, and it still plays in the background. Where if I do that with Twitter, if I'm on the mobile web, it just shuts down.
Mm-hmm.
So,
when's it coming to Android?
Yeah, it'll be coming. It's a little bit. I don't know. Okay, we've been talking internally. We have discussions around this like every sprint that we do. Mm-hmm. But are you really? You think you're really looking for the Android?
Oh my God! Come on, man. Let me just. For $180 unlocked and the screen on this bad boy. I mean, I can run 2 SIM cards. I mean, I'm a tech dork, dude, and I'm always looking for the best deal. And one of the things I also do are the walk and talks to be with my audience. So once you put live streaming on that, then I can do that with Rokfin as well, which I can't do right now. Now I do have an iDevice, but just not a fan. Just not as good. Not as versatile. So let's get with the Android. But again, baby steps. I'm glad you didn't do everything, at once. And you guys have been ultra responsive when I've had a question or a problem. So you've been pretty, orientated in helping, not hurting your base, your creators. Like you said, the people that make value into the network. So how many creators do you have overall and everything? And then what's the goal of that in 12 months?
So right now it's under 100, because like you said, we're selective on who we bring on and who we keep on, and so we're kind of picky around that. But quality we're really zeroed in on quality. We don't just want anybody who just is going to upload cat videos or just upload something. I mean, it really is a right combination of the people that we're going to bring on, and so. Once the network is starting to roll like it feels like right now, we think there's opportunity for 10x growth in all of our metrics. Mm-hmm. And I'm not going to sell ourselves short and say, oh, we'd only want to do X, Y, and Z. I just think there's exponential growth around everything that we're doing because of the dynamics of the viral loops that we're building, the little things that we're building and we're measuring against daily to make sure to continue to move those needles. So I want exponential growth. I don't have a number in my mind, Jason, so it sounds like I'm avoiding the question. It's not. I just what our focus is around just continue to focus. Our North Star metric is premium post views. How many views are consumed on a daily basis? We just broke a record yesterday on top of a record the day before. And so, I think about in those terms and where I want to be in 12 months is 100,000. I want 100,000 premium posts viewed, consumed every single day. And that's up from, that's a 33x from where we're at today.
Awesome, man. Well, man, I want to thank you for your time. You got anything else you want to talk about on the network or the Ray token or anything I missed? Because like I said, I'm a big fan of the platform. I think the live streaming's great. I think the fact that you didn't try to go all at once and you have it based in reality, in money. not just come over to my platform and it's going to make us all this money. Steam, it's great, but where's the actual money? You know what I mean? And things like Mines and Float, great, but they don't have subscribers. They don't have people that are really trying to financially support those creators as well. So anything else you want to add?
No, this is good, man. I appreciate the time, Jason. It's a good conversation, and love to come on anytime you want.
All right, brother. I really do appreciate it. Thank you very much, Martin.
Have a good one.
You too. And that was Martin Floreani. And guys, go to Rokfin. Go check it out right now. Now's the time. Now is the time. Go over, check it out. We're doing premium posts all the time. There it is, $9.99 a month. You want to support me otherwise? I got the GoFundMe. I'm a documentary filmmaker. All my stuff's free. If you're new, thumbs up, subscribe. Love you guys. I will see you on the flip side.